Here is your engaging, emotional, long-form story written in plain paragraphs, paced for a 55-minute YouTube narration, based on the title. Millionaire slapped pregnant wife at casino, the pit boss was her FBI agent father. The story. The slap echoed louder than the slot machines. For one breathless second, the entire casino seemed to freeze, lights flashing, chips clattering, laughter bubbling in the air, until everything collapsed into stunned silence. Lena staggered back, a hand on her swollen belly, eyes wide with shock. The man towering over her, her husband, millionaire real estate tycoon Adrian Blackwell, stared down with a twist of fury still searing his face. But he wasn't the only one staring. From the surveillance balcony above, the pit boss had already locked in on the scene. His jaw tightened, his hand curled around the railing. And in that moment, the world didn't see him as the calm, aging casino supervisor. They saw Agent Daniel Reyes, 20-year FBI veteran. And Elena's father. Elena never imagined her dream marriage would shatter under casino neon lights. She had fallen for Adrian 3 years ago, charmed by his confidence, his ambition, the confidence that radiated from him like gold. He had promised her a future of comfort and security, a family, a home built on respect. But lately, he had been changing. Or maybe, she realized, she had been too blind to see what he had always been. The gambling, the temper, the obsession with control, the whispered phone calls, the lies that piled on top of lies. And tonight, it all erupted. It started with a simple request, Elena asking Adrian to leave the casino. He had already lost more money in an hour than most people earned in a year. She was tired. Her feet were swollen. The baby kicked anxiously as if sensing the rising tension between its parents. But Adrian wasn't listening. He was on a streak, one he swore he had to win back. He had stormed away from her toward the private tables, leaving her alone. When she followed him and gently touched his arm, begging him to stop, he turned. He shouted. He blamed her. He accused her of ruining his luck. And then his hand rose. The slap wasn't just pain. It was betrayal. It was the moment the man she married vanished completely. Above them, Agent Reyes moved like a bullet. He didn't walk. He descended. 2 security guards followed, confused by the pit boss's sudden transformation, but Agent Reyes had already reached the casino floor. People parted as if pulled by an invisible force. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Elena, trembling, didn't even see him until his shadow fell over both her and Adrian. "Step away from my daughter," he said. His voice was calm, too calm. Adrian scoffed. "Listen, old man, this is..." He never finished. Within seconds, Reyes' badge flashed. His voice thundered with authority that silenced everyone. "Adrian Blackwell, you're coming with me." "What? For what?" "For fraud, money laundering, wire scams, federal crimes you thought you were too smart to get caught committing." His eyes flicked downward to Elena's cheek. "And after that slap, I'm adding domestic assault." Adrian's face drained of color. Elena felt her chest tighten, not out of fear for Adrian, but out of overwhelming relief. Maybe, she thought, this nightmare was finally ending. 2 agents disguised as casino staff stepped in from nowhere. They seized Adrian's arms, pressing him to the table as gamblers backed away. He sputtered confidently about lawyers, threats, and power, but none of it mattered anymore. Agent Reyes looked at his daughter, his expression softening for the first time that night. "Let's get you out of here." She collapsed into his arms, safe for the first time in months. At the hospital, Elena finally confessed everything. The emotional abuse, the financial pressure, the way Adrian monitored her calls, her texts, her friends. The fear that grew each day as she realized the man she loved was spiraling into darker places. Agent Reyes listened, not as a seasoned FBI agent, but as a father who wished he had stepped in sooner. "You're not alone," he whispered. And for the first time in months, Elena believed it. Adrian's arrest set off a chain reaction. Federal agents raided his businesses. Partners cooperated. Bank documents surfaced. Hidden accounts emerged. Elena had no idea how deep his criminal empire had grown. But the truth came with a strange kind of peace. She was free. She and her baby were finally safe. In the months that followed, Agent Reyes retired early, choosing a new mission, helping his daughter rebuild her life from the ground up. Lena moved into his warm little house outside the city, where she found comfort in quiet mornings, her father's jokes, and the slow return of her self-worth. She attended therapy. She healed. She prepared for motherhood, not with fear, but with hope. And when she finally gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, her father held the child with tears streaming down his face. "She'll never know pain," he promised. "Not while I'm here." Meanwhile, Adrian faced the consequences he thought he was too powerful to outrun. His businesses collapsed. His so-called friends vanished. His empire crumbled. He tried to blame Lena. He tried to blame everyone but himself. But the truth stood taller than all his excuses. Months later, Lena returned to the casino, not as a victim, but as a survivor ready to reclaim her strength. She walked through the same doors where her life fell apart, and rebuilt herself right in the center of it. The staff who saw her whispered stories of courage. The gamblers paused in awe. The woman who had once stood trembling now held her baby and walked with confidence. Agent Reyes stood at her side, not as a pit boss, not as an agent, but as the father who would always choose her. The ending message. No matter how dark a chapter becomes, there is always a way out. Lena's story wasn't about a slap. It wasn't about a casino. It wasn't even about a millionaire. It was about recognizing your worth. About walking away from harm. About trusting the people who love you. And about rebuilding your life, even when it feels impossible. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it begins with a single step. Straight out of the darkness.